I'm trying out a brand new microphone system. Let me know, you guys. Somebody let me know if you're hearing me now. Sorry about that. Just a matter of getting used to the new, absent-mindedly getting used to the new system. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If nobody says anything, I'll assume you cannot hear me. Somebody send me a chat if you don't mind. Are you hearing me? My phone has bars telling me that you can hear me. Anybody? Bruno? Anybody? Okay, I was talking about, I'll go ahead assuming you can hear me. This is my new, okay, thank you, Bruno. Appreciate that very much. Whew! Appreciate it, man. And very sorry about that. So I'm, again, still trying to get used to a new microphone. And simply absent-mindedly left it unplugged. Most microphones have to be plugged in, whether they're old or new. It's not a very good excuse. Okay, what I was saying brilliantly before I discovered you weren't hearing anything I was saying. Good, thank you, Bruno. Was that I'm now down, of course, to the new fuzz layer. And I was going to point out, for instance, I want this line right here to be gray. So I just want you to see my brushes are going like up to 4 inches either side of that mark. Now, not all of it is that messy, but a lot of it is. So just messy, messy, messy. And I was saying too that I find myself deriving a little bit of perverse pleasure, and I say perverse in the old-fashioned English sense of the word, not perverted, but a perverse pleasure in this fuzz layer, because it's the only layer that now scares me to death. Because I make such a mess. It's just crazy that painting in this manner whatsoever can be the right thing to do. Everything in me just says, no, you're just messing it up. Except that my intellect goes, no, it's okay. You've done this before. But my knee-jerk reaction is like, I'm ruining it. So now I've discovered it does look like I'm ruining, because I'm just making a huge mess. Now, at any point, if I decide, of course, that I want to remove something, like this stroke right here, for instance, and again, I probably won't remove it, but I can diminish it. I just come in like that, and that's good enough. But most of this mess is actually going to stay. And the thing in my own mind, the thing I have to keep reminding myself is, it ain't over till it's over. Painting's not done till it's done. And until then, it's not done. And after this messy, messy, messy layer, I have 2 more layers to go. One with pencils, and one, of course, the final edit. And the final edit in particular is hard edges, tends to be hard edged. So all the stuff that I've just made a huge mess up there, all of that will get defined or redefined, perhaps I could say, in the final layer. Actually, the final layers. Whew! Having said all that, though, still makes me nervous. Woo! I've mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. The biggest big boy club that I've ever been a part of so far in my career. It was a couple years ago when I got into the national show, Oil Painters of America, OPA. And I wasn't all that impressed. I mean, I was happy, of course, that I got in. It was really the first big show that I ever tried to get in. And I got in, and I wasn't all that impressed till I got there. I got to Dallas and saw everybody else's artwork. And then I was quite impressed. I was like, dang, whew, I'm lucky to be in this club. But the reason I mention that is because believe it or not, one of the big impressions I had as I walked around those two rooms, there were about 200 paintings. The numbers that year were roughly 2,100 artists applied to get in the show, and either just over or just under 200 got in. I don't remember if it was over or under, but about 200. So a little less than 10% of the people that even entered got in. And I say this, take it for what it's worth, but I was arguably the worst artist in the room. Now, I don't really think I was the worst artist in the room, but there wasn't anybody in that show, there wasn't anybody that couldn't have looked at my stuff, I think, and realistically said, well, first of all, they would have been nice. They said, yeah, that's good. That's real good. But he's not as good as me. You know what I mean? Everybody else could have said they were better than me. So I say I was arguably the worst artist in the room. And you might think that would make most people or me feel inferior. Quite the contrary. I was absolutely in hog heaven. I was in ecstasy because I thrive on inspiration. I thrive on firsthand inspiration from people around me. So to say the least, I was thriving. I was absolutely delighted. Absolutely delighted. Anyway, I'm sorry. The reason I'm telling you all that, I'm sorry, I got off track. The reason I'm telling you all that is, as I walked around the gallery and looked at the other 200 painters, my work was definitely on the, if this is a scale from 0 to 100, my work was definitely on the tighter, neater end of the spectrum. Messy, way down here, super realistic. I was about here. Whereas in most of my life, messy, neat, I'm about here with most of the people that I hang around. Are you with me? But these were, I think, the best artists in America. And I found myself here, and most of them were looser than I am. So that's not why I started this FUZZ layer. That is certainly not why I started it, but it certainly has been an impetus, an encouragement in this direction. So I have been pursuing a higher degree of mess. Not since that event, but over the last couple of years. Well, okay, now just a little bit more explanations. Again, this I feel like, obviously I feel like I need to explain why am I making all this mess. Well, I've been on a conscious, very, very stated with words, very, very conscious quest over the last probably 7 years. And I didn't write it down, so I don't know exactly what the time frame was. But I've been a very conscious quest to be more, for my artwork, my paintings, to be A, more accurate drawing, and B, more messy. So both of those things, very conscious quest, like spoken out loud, not subconscious, not subtle, No, very, very intentional to be, as I said, more accurate in drawing, but more messy. And so this fuzz layer is definitely obviously, I think, in that trajectory. Okay. Now, one of the things I've discovered, and this is more recent in my messy journey, one of the things I've discovered, and again, I started this 2 years ago, the messy layer, and just like everything else, stumbled on it quite by accident, began incorporating it into my technique, my approach, my step 1, 2, 3, and for a long time, of course, didn't know and wondered, is this really a permanent part of my painting repertoire, or is it something that I'm going to move into for a while and then move out of? Same thing with the black pencils. I've wondered, and I don't know if this is permanent. A couple years ago, I don't know if this is permanent or temporary. Of course, both of these have so far seemed to be permanent impulses. Not only has the fuzz layer seemed to be a permanent switch or permanent addition to my repertoire, it's actually grown in importance and increased in significance and increased in square inches, increased in the amount of the canvas that gets covered by this fuzz. And the main reason for that is quite simple to describe. I have discovered that using the fuzz layer to rectify or correct local color is a great way to do it. I used to, up to even a couple months ago, I used to do some color correcting in the final edit layer. And of course, I still can do that if I need to, but I'm finding I need to do less and less. For instance, like Jerry's shirt here is definitely supposed to be blue. Well, up until just a few seconds ago, it had the most vague impression of blueness, right? It wasn't blue enough. So now, it definitely has a real blue cast to it. And of course, see soft edges, blue escaping. And that's the part that's scary, because right at the moment, it looks like really weird. Like, no, you shouldn't have blue. You shouldn't have blue from Jerry's shirt all the way over here and down here. And up here and up here. That's ridiculous, right? Well, it looks ridiculous now, but it won't look ridiculous after I finish the much tighter final edits. Of course, I'm saying all this because I'm assuming somebody out there, some of you want to try a little bit to incorporate some of my technique into your painting. I find myself now in need of a larger brush. So once again, here's another. This character down here, this man with his back to us, his shirt has the faintest hint of blue in it right now. Very dark blue. And I want it slightly bluer. So the fuzz layer you see is the perfect opportunity for increasing blueness in this case. Can I go a little bit more? No, I'm going to leave it just like that. Now the girl next to him. So when I'm doing this, I'm using opaque colors, but of course scumbling and applying them so thinly that So I just add a little bit of violet to that so that those two shirts don't get a lot of attention. I think I can actually make that just a little bit lighter. Which is, I'd rather have that problem than to overdo it. If I overdo it, I can wipe it off, but it's a bit of a problem. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and finally, this guy way down here in this corner. Yeah, I really want at the risk of being redundant, boring, I want his shirt blue as well. So all three people here on this side of the bar, they are all cool. In contrast to, of course, to the bar. Everything back there is warm, except for Jerry's shirt, and these people are cool, cool forward, warm back. But you know, I want our eyes going here. These people are just props. They're just abstract smudges. There's going to be some real pretty, I hope, wine glasses, shot glasses, things like that down here in the foreground. And you can barely see them right now. That's by design. Okay, I think I'm done with the fuzz layer. Oh no, a little bit of red way up here in the sign. No, not red. There's enough red there already. A little bit of white, actually, or very, very, very pale yellow, orange, white. Yeah, let's start with some orange. This is a neon sign, definitely one of the focal points, one of the high interest areas of the painting. A neon sign that says Jerry's Bar, cash only. That's a joke. This is not a public bar. This is somebody's basement. Not crazy about that. I'm just going to smooth that out just a little bit. All right. Are we having fun? I hope so. I certainly hope so. Okay, break time. I'll be back in a while. I've got several errands to do. One is I judged an art show yesterday, and in just a little while I need to go back down to where the show is happening in Cary, North Carolina, and face the angry crowd. Everybody will be angry that didn't win something. Everybody that did win something will think I'm the most brilliant judge in the world. Everybody who didn't win something will think I'm an idiot. All part of the cost of being the judge. Okay, that's the end of the fuzz layer. Thanks guys for watching. So let me see, next time it'll be, what letter are we at? JK, right? Black pencils next. I like it. Thanks for watching.